Hey guys, today I'm going to be sharing with you how I make a whole hen in my Instant Pot. Not only does this give you amazingly delicious chicken that tastes like turkey, but it also gives you the most amazing homemade stock or broth that you can use later on in soups and in your rice dishes. Let's go right ahead and get started. So I have in my small blender cup here, I have some rosemary, about 3 sprigs of rosemary. I have some of these thyme leaves here. Now this is a different type of thyme, but it has very similar flavor to regular thyme. So that's going to be roughly about three of your regular thyme that you typically get in the grocery store. I'm just using one of these fat thyme leaves, big thyme, fat thyme, podina, whatever you want to call it. I'm also going to use about a half of an onion that I'm just going to roughly chop up, as well as about 6 cloves of garlic that I'm going to peel and just smash them and place them in this blender cup. I will be adding about 2 to 3 tablespoons of water to this cup and just blend that all together. Now, here's the thing. I forgot, and you'll see later on, I completely forgot to add my handful of cilantro to this. And to me, cilantro makes this what it is. If you don't like cilantro, you can use parsley, but it is a necessity in this. So I completely forgot it at this point, but you definitely want to add it in at this point to save yourself the trouble. So I have 1 stick of butter here that I have popped into the microwave and it is melted. It's kind of cool to touch. It's not super steaming or anything. I'm going to just add in my herb mixture into the butter. Now I have some of this organic poultry seasoning in here. I'm going to add about a teaspoon of that to my butter, as well as a good 2 teaspoons of black pepper, as well as about 2 teaspoons of salt. Now, of course, you can adjust salt to your liking. I also do have this complete seasoning here, this total seasoning. This is completely optional. I just had it there to show you if you don't have poultry seasoning, or use whatever kind of seasoning that you typically like to use. I had it there and I just said, you know what, let me just sprinkle a little bit in here. It's not exactly, I would say, the healthiest thing to add to it. So I would not typically add this, but I had it there, so I add a little bit. But the point is that you can add whatever typical seasonings that you use. But the blend of the seasonings with the creaminess of the butter and everything is just amazing. So I have my bacon hen here and I have my Instant Pot insert. The reason I'm using my Instant Pot for this is because it helps get this really super tender. I find in any other way, the hen is just too tough. So what we want is we want to pull the skin back. Unfortunately, the hen I had, the skin was already torn a little bit. You don't want to really tear your skin, but there, see, my skin was actually torn. But you want to get under the skin, so use your hand to get under the skin, and then we're going to take the tip of our knife and make little pockets into the breast side, and also if you can get into the thighs and the leg areas, that would also be great. That's what I typically do whenever I'm making any whole chicken. I'm going to pour this marinade, this buttery herb mixture, all over my chicken. I'm going to get it under the skin, inside of the chicken, and into those pockets that we have created. Wear some gloves if you have a problem getting your hands dirty with chicken. I clearly do not. I'm cooking food. I'm gonna get dirty. Now I like to save my giblets because I use those things in soups and whatnot. If your meat is at completely room, you use your best discretion for what you want to do, but I like to save mine. Now, here is where I realized, oh my goodness, I washed my hands up. I'm totally nice and feeling clean. And I forgot one of the most important parts to my chicken is my handful of cilantro. If you don't have cilantro, what you can use parsley. If you don't like cilantro, use parsley. But if you do like cilantro, trust me, you want to use cilantro. So after I have gotten that mix, I just added about a tablespoon of water just to help that mix up. And again, I'm going inside of the chicken, under the skin of the hen, inside those pockets. You want to get all that marinade all around the chicken, guys, even under the skin where the thighs and the legs are. You want to get it everywhere. So I'm going to let this sit here now and marinate for about 20-30 minutes. The longer you let it sit, about an hour on your countertop is fine. It will be great. If you want to do this overnight, you can cover this up with foil and place this in your refrigerator to marinate overnight. Now you will need some liquid at the bottom of this Instant Pot insert to help this come up to pressure. So I like to add about a 1/2 cup to 3/4 cup of water and make sure that it's under the hen so you don't get a burn notice on the Instant Pot. But before we pop this into our Instant Pot, I have some stalks of celery that I have just cut up into half. I also have some extra sprigs of rosemary, about 2 sprigs of rosemary, and I have stuffed this into my hen. For better flavor, use the remaining half of your onion, peel the skin off, place it in there, as well as smashed cloves of garlic. Anything like that, stuff it in there. This is going to lend flavor to your hen as well as to the stock that you will be creating as well. So I've popped my lid on. It is on sealing. Now you want to follow directions on the Instant Pot, which calls for 8 minutes per pound of chicken or so. I honestly don't even know how many pounds I had, so I just guesstimated it was about 5 pounds or so. 5 to 6 pounds. Gave it a little bit extra time. A little bit extra time never hurt anything on the Instant Pot. Unless it's maybe rice. I don't know. I usually cook rice on the stovetop. But anyways, we're going to let this go. I will let this release halfway through, and then I will release it myself because I don't want steam going everywhere. And if you do have the air fryer lid for your Instant Pot, here is where you'd want to use it. Because I don't have an air fryer lid, and I am not, this hen is super tender at this point and it will fall apart. So I'm not going to lift this up and put it in my air fryer. I'm going to take off the pieces that I break off, which will be the legs and the thighs. And I'm going to preheat my oven to 450 degrees. And if you can get the wings or whatever, and I'm going to just place this in my oven at 450 for about 15 to 20 minutes until the skin kind of crisps up. Now you want a piece of the hen that has the skin on it for crisping up, because obviously the color of this is not the most appetizing, but the breast part and whatnot, I leave this, I just shred it up for my little ones and for ourselves, pour a little bit of the sauce on it, and it is like turkey, Thanksgiving turkey. It is so good. Now that broth, y'all, is liquid gold, okay? I am not kidding you. It makes one of the best soups that you can make. But we'll get into that a little bit later. So just pop this in your oven, the little pieces, if you want to. If you have the air fryer lid, go ahead and do that. If you just want to shred everything up, that's great as well. So the breast part and all of that, I just shred it up and I pour some sauce over it. I'm serving this with my yellow rice, and it is so incredibly delicious. It tastes like turkey. It is so good. Now the broth or the stock, whatever you want to call it, you want that to cool completely before storing it. Now you can store it in your freezer or in your fridge if you want to use it for like the next couple of days or so. When it cools completely, you can strain off or scrape off the fat from it that renders out from either the butter and the chicken and all of that. And y'all, it honestly is so good. It tastes like turkey on Thanksgiving. It has amazing flavor from all the herbs and the butter. Again, I popped mine in the freezer once it was completely cooled, and when it was actually mostly frozen, I just scraped off all the extra fat that came up to the top and separated, and that is it. It is delicious. You get so many different meals out of this. You can serve it as I'm doing with just the chicken here. I use the broth, the stock that I reserved in a soup, and I just poured that broth in the pot along with several cups of water, 5, 6, 7 cups of water. Added my potatoes and my sweet potatoes and even the leftover chicken, and it made the absolute best soup ever. It was so good, so good. So again, in the oven at 450 until the top. The skin is nice and crispy. That's optional. Again, it's just more for presentation. But I hope that you guys give it a try. And if you try and enjoy it, let me know in the comments below. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.